Oh. You better snap.
Okay, dude.
Oh. Who are you? Who am I? Who are you? Who am I? Who are you? Who am I? I am the original man, the father of civilization, the male component in the vortex, Dr. Ruler, priest teacher, historian, storyteller, general architect, writer, historian, scientist, and warrior.
What's going on, everybody? We back with yet another episode of With Time We Can. For this week, I got my very special, the Rock, the black man, Nat Turner himself, Saiyou Brakemi, aka Nat Turner. What's going on, my groove brother?
I'm good.
Good. That's what's up, man. Black is hails from Nigeria. What part of Nigeria are you from, bro?
So I'm in Bayelsa, the southern part of Nigeria.
Okay, pretty good. I brought you onto the show today, Black, because over here in the United States, where you had the pleasure of visiting for about 4 or 5 years, we heard a lot about the SARS epidemic over there. And I just wanted to get some insight on what's going on in Nigeria. Talk to us about what SARS is, the protest that's going on over there, and all that. So let's just get right into it, man. If you could tell the viewers, what is SARS?
So SARS is like a termed special anti-robbery squad. They are kind of in charge of armed robbery all over the country. It's a federal body. That's what they are. So the division of the police in Nigeria in charge of armed robbery.
Okay.
That's just what they are.
So they're like I would say community-based. So are they police officers or are they just community members that are in charge of the special anti-robbery squad?
They are police officers, like a special squad in the police force out in Nigeria.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like a component of the police department out there.
Yeah.
All right. So have you had any experience directly with SARS? Like just being who you are?
Yeah, twice.
Talk about it.
But it was kind of peaceful for me because I had some means of identification. So I was getting back home from work and they were like, oh, we have to go through your stuff, your phone. And I'm like, no problem. Although they don't have the rights to do that, but I'm like, since I have nothing to hide, can go through the phone. And they went through the phone, they saw nothing. They're like, where do I work? I told them my workplace. They're like, where's your ID? I'm like, I don't have a work ID right now, but I have something in place of an ID. So I was able to go safely. But that is not the same with every other person though. But the 2 times I've come in direct contact with SARS, it's been peaceful. I would say it's been peaceful.
Okay. So that's just as your groove brother, I'm very happy to hear that. I would hate to hear that something happened. I'll be on the next flight to damn Nigeria if somebody touch you. But I just wanted to ask, so about the protests. What exactly, just tell the viewers, what exactly are people protesting against SARS for? What are some of the allegations that are going on, some of the events that have occurred that are making such an outrage in Nigeria?
Okay, so the reason why the protest started, like in my case, some Nigerians, I won't say all the Nigerians, some Nigerians are actually into this whole business of frauding foreigners, more like cyber crimes. So the SARS took it upon themselves to keep these boys in check. And to an extent, they started overdoing it because they see someone young on the street. If you're driving some kind of car or using some kind of phone, they're like, okay, you are part of those fraudulent youths in Nigeria. Like they see you with an iPhone, maybe iPhone 10, iPhone 11, they're like, why are you using an iPhone 11 or iPhone 10? Like where did you get the money to buy the phone and all of those? And those that actually have the money to buy these phones or this car, like they see you with a Benz and they're like, you are too young to be driving a Benz. Where did you get the money from? You have to be a fraudulent person. So even the youths that were not into this old fraud became victims of SARS. Because if you don't have any proper means of identifying yourself, you will end up having to pay. Okay, and that is the funny part. If they get to you and you don't have any means of clearing yourself, like no evidence, they take you straight to the ATM and you give them money.
Wow.
And that is kind of wrong. They don't even take you, yeah, they don't take you to the station and like interrogate you or stuff. They just go straight to the ATM, you give them something.
Really?
And sometimes if you happen to have nothing to give to them, it becomes kind of deadly because there have been many situations where boys die, like youths have been shot and stuff like that. So it was kind of mild, but after a while, the occurrence became too much. Like the most heartbreaking one was when they shot a boy in broad daylight and took off with his car. And it wasn't nice anymore. So the youths had to take to the streets. I think the protest went on for over a week. And what the protesters wanted, because I was in the protest too, I was out there.
Nice.
I'm a photographer. Like I was out there trying to take photos and all of those to put it out there on Instagram and Twitter so the rest of the world could see. But we were just out there like we don't want to be shot. Like we don't have enough jobs in Nigeria, and for you to get a job in Nigeria, you kind of have to know someone who knows someone who also knows someone, all this type of stuff. So some of us who don't know anyone, so start we start our own businesses. Most of us, like I'm a photographer for now, but I did microbiology. Like I did biology in school. I have friends who studied law, medicine, and all of those, but they're out there trying to get a means to survive. And if you are trying to survive in the absence of jobs and are being shot at, it doesn't make any sense. That it doesn't make any sense at all. So the protest was all about let us work in peace. Not everyone, not every youth out there that has a nice car or a nice phone is being fraudulent. That was just what it was about. And the protest became something like reform the police, remove SARS from the police force. We don't want it anymore. Then reform the old police in Nigeria, reform the police. That was what the protest was all about. And it took place in all the major cities in Nigeria, Lagos, Abuja, Ibadan, even here in Bayelsa. The protests were like every day or every other day. Sometimes they stay all night outside in front of the government buildings. That's where people protest, and it wasn't violent at first. So that was what the protest was about.
Wow. Yo, that's heavy, man. I took a couple notes just to keep up with all that because, man, that's heavy. That definitely sounds like the police brutality that we have over in the United States. I'm not sure if, during your tenure here, you experienced it, but I've experienced quite a bit of, unequal treatment by the police officers and, whatnot. I've seen it. I went through it myself. So cybercrime, basically SARS is over like the robbery and the robber, they like the robbery unit of the police force. And what happens is
Yeah.
they're looking, it's a lot of cyber crimes going on. So basically what that's telling me is it's a lot of scamming going on in Nigeria.
Yep.
That's what they do over here. They just call it scamming. It's the same thing. So there's a lot of scamming going on. And SARS is taking this opportunity to, just be extra excessive with force. and trying
Yeah.
to apprehend certain individuals. And it's a bias because if you're young, like you said, if you're young and you have an iPhone 12 or you're driving a certain car, they automatically assume it's not yours and you're a part of this cybercrime scamming stuff that's going on, and they lock you up.
These
That's
boys
deep.
are called G boys.
G boys. Oh, okay.
Like the letter
So
G boys.
that's what they call the SARS cops, or that's what they call the guys that actually doing the scamming.
Scammers. Yeah, the scammers are called G boys.
Oh, okay. The scammers are, dang, y'all got a name for it and everything. Wow,
Yep.
man. So question. How does it feel, like coming from America, going back to Nigeria, seeing the same things that you've seen over here, over there? Like, how does it affect you? Do you live in like a ghetto out there? Do you live in a nice, rich neighborhood? Like, what type of neighborhood do you live in?
No, I don't live in a nice, rich neighborhood. I live in the southern part of Nigeria. Is not known to be among the very nice parts of Nigeria.
Okay.
So I would say I kind of live somewhere like a ghetto.
Somewhere
So I
like a
won't say it's
ghetto?
all nice.
Okay.
Yeah. But
Do you?
coming from America, like living this ghetto, going to America, coming back, living and working here, seeing how things played out. Because on the 10th of October,
Mm,
the protests were still going on. But on the 10th of October, it turned out to be the military, because the military came out and they started shooting at protesters. And the whole world was supposed to see that, but I guess not everyone saw that. But it happened. The next day, it became more like a war zone, because the boys were out there, the military was out there, and it was a shootout. People died, things got destroyed. There are videos, there are a lot of videos, and I think those videos are only within Nigeria. I don't know why or how, but there are videos out there that show this violence, and it
right.
was bad. And seeing that, personally, I had intentions of going out the other day after the shootout to
Right.
protest, but I could die.
Yeah.
Because
Wow.
yeah,
Go ahead.
it's not a matter of I could die. It was more like you going out to protest after the shootout. You had a 90% chance of being shot at. So everyone just stayed indoors. And
Right.
those that actually went out to see protest, they were actually those who, so I would say in Nigeria, there are guys that go through some kind of, how they call it, juju or voodoo, but it's something we do out
Okay.
there.
Hmm.
But these guys, they do this stuff, they get shot at, and it won't go through. Like, it doesn't penetrate, so they can take a lot
Wow.
of bullets and not die. Like, they don't get any single injuries. So these are the type of boys that were outside still protesting,
Right.
because even if they get shot at, there are actually videos of boys being shot at, but they're like just there looking at you and are shooting at them, and they're like
Right.
nothing. And there are videos
Sheesh.
out there too. Those are the kind of
Hey.
guys out still protesting. After a while,
Uh-huh.
everything came down.
Right.
But coming from America and seeing something similar in terms of police brutality, I won't say it's very similar though, because I would say when it all started, the youth actually went on, in some states, they went on to burn up police stations, and then some rich folks, their houses were burnt, like the governor of Lagos. The
Hmm.
next day, they went to his mom's house and they set it on fire. And then a lot of looting started happening. It was all chaos. But after a few
Wow.
days, everything died down. And
Wow.
I won't say it's the same concept, but it's still same police brutality.
Hmm.
And at the end of the day, the government makes, like, it feels like the government have the ultimate power. Like, they can decide what is and what is not. And that's kind of sad. Very sad.
Right. Is the police out there now? Are the police out there white cops or like black cops, a mixture?
No, there are no whites in Nigeria. Nigeria is the only country in the world with the largest black indigenous population. We are all blacks here.
Okay.
There are no
How does
whites
it
here.
how does it feel being oppressed by your own people and going through this with people that look exactly like you?
Well, out here, I feel it's a thing about power. If you feel you have more power than the next person, they tend to use all the force, or I don't know, they just feel stronger. I would say it's not really about color or race. It's about who is stronger. And
Right,
what makes one feel they're stronger is like, okay, I have a gun, or I have more money and stuff like that. And and I think it's common in every society that those that feel they are stronger in terms of strength or wealth, they tend to oppress those that don't have same things they have. So I would say it's a war everyone is fighting everywhere. It's
right,
just that in other places it's a war of color. Like if you're darker, or there is a white man trying to oppress the black man. There may be places where I don't know, maybe there may be places where there are blacks oppressing whites, but I think it's always a war of who feels they are better than the other.
right,
And then they have to keep themselves up there by every means to make sure they're always in power. I think that is the war everyone is fighting everywhere.
right. Well, over here in America, it's very similar. You know, it's a power hungry thing. The problem is
Yeah,
we have a lot of institutional racism, blatant racism, where white folks are at the top of the food chain, and the black folks are often left with trying to scrape and scrap with the crumbs, left in ghettos, left in uh, underachieving school systems, left with fatherless houses and stuff like that. So you see a lot of institutional racism over here, which directly and indirectly affects black people. So it may not be a colorism thing, like you said, but it definitely is a power thing. And the power white folks in America hold most of the power, while black people usually are fighting to get the power. So it on the outside it looks like a colorist thing, but it's all I agree with you. Like it's more of a power struggle. hmm So what I'm just curious about your neighborhood. Earlier, you said that you were from a ghetto. You've been, like I said, you've been around in America for quite some time before you went back to Nigeria. Can you give me like a city or a state that's comparable to where you live at, just so people could know what type of environment you are currently in?
I would say Philadelphia.
Wow. So it's comparable to Philly.
Yup.
So what in Philly reminded you of your hood in Nigeria?
Oh, I would say because the time I was in America, a lot of things reminded me of home, and going to Philly, seeing gangs
hmm
actually reminded me of home because we actually have a lot of gangs out here, like a
Okay.
lot of them. And it's mostly them fighting themselves or sometimes even attacking innocent civilians, more like robbery. Like
Wow.
you may just be out there at night taking a walk with a girl and someone comes out of the dark and points a gun at you like, yo, I need your phone, I need this, and they start
Mm.
going through your pockets. They take everything they need and they're gone. And if you try to
How,
struggle with them, you get shot
how
or
are you
stabbed.
keeping yourself safe, man? How are you keeping yourself safe with all that?
Damn, I'm from here. I know how to move.
Gangster, right?
Well,
Oh
I'm not
man.
gangster, but I just know how to move. I know how to move. I know when to move. I know where to move to.
Yeah.
I just know how to move. Yeah.
No, I respect
I
that.
know when to run and I know when to walk.
Right. Okay. Nah, that's pretty good, man. I like that. So I just want to ask one more question, man, before we get out of here. So, like I never went to Africa personally, but I know that my roots come from Africa. I'm very cultured. Like you see, I'm wearing a shirt. I love just learning about Africa, speaking to African men and women such as yourself. Um, but I do notice the disconnect between my African American culture and your Nigerian African culture. Like, I just want to know, like, do you notice the disconnect between us? You know, being that we are the same, but we just grew up different places. And can you address the disconnect between African Americans and Africans?
Okay, so like I was at Lincoln University,
Hmm.
first HBCU out there,
Hmm.
and getting there, it was mostly blacks per se. But even being among blacks, I felt that separation because it was like you guys were African Americans and we are continental Africans. Like
Hmm.
we are coming from Africa. We kind of looked alike because even right now, staying in Nigeria, I always come across one or two individuals that look like people I've seen. Like I have a guy that looks a lot like Corn, and I keep telling
Oh
him
yeah.
like you look like someone I know. You look like someone I know. But the guy's like,
Hmm.
how is that possible? But there is that
Hmm.
resemblance in skin color, but I feel where you grow up matters a lot. What's like growing up, your experiences, what goes on around you matters a lot. And growing up in America is certainly different from growing up in Africa
Mm.
because the things that happen here are kind of different from what happens here. You have that mentality, that consciousness, like your roots are from Africa, but you've not been here though, and
Hmm.
not spend time here. I would say I know there are some people I will see and I'll be like, okay, this is how I should move. But I won't feel that same way in America. And
Mm.
also education, I think we don't really know a lot about each other because
Right.
in Lincoln I actually got to answer some weird questions about being African, like do you keep a lion as a pet? How did you get here? Did you use the boats and all those type of questions? And then I started questioning myself, like, is it like the African Americans don't actually take their time to study about the Africans?
Right.
And it was actually sad because we wanted to be accepted, but we didn't get accepted the way we wanted to be accepted. But the good part was when I went to America, we went in a very large number, it was 21 of us. So we kind of had this group of
Right.
Nigerian students that go everywhere. I don't know if you noticed, but we're always around each other in the cafeteria, we're always around each other and stuff. We speak our
I seen
languages and
y'all.
stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah, we had
Yeah.
to come together and all of those types of stuff. But gradually, we started understanding the African Americans, and some of them started understanding us too. And that was how I even got to understand more about some people and even became part of Group 5 group because
Right.
I was actually open to learning and stuff. But I think the disconnect just comes from misinformation and sometimes not willing to be open-minded about something new. I think
Hmm.
that's where the disconnect comes from. And
Right.
maybe people still get to depend on what they were taught, or most times what the internet just gets to give to you. And I don't think everything on the internet is right about everything, because there are some nice places. Even in Nigeria, there are some nice places that you could go to and you feel like you are in a big city in America.
Right. Right.
But that disconnect comes from misconceptions, misinformation, and sometimes I'll just say ignorance.
I'll take that for sure.
Yeah, I think that is it.
Hmm. Well, I for one, man, I humbly admire continental Africans. That's one of the things that I want to do before I leave this planet, is to visit where I'm from, learn more about where I'm from. In America, they really don't do a good job in the public school systems with teaching African Americans their history beyond slavery. That's often usually left up to yourself. So when I started educating myself on my history and my people beyond slavery and just, you know, being slaves, I started to gain an appreciation and a deep love for who we were before. I remember, I'll never forget, in fourth grade, my teacher said that my white teacher actually told me that Black people were chasing monkeys and swinging from trees and savages and all that. And white people came and took them and brought them over here to civilize them. That's what I was told as a fourth grader. Mind you, a fourth grade mind is what, 9, 8 years old. And I could have believed that, but I always felt like it was more to the story. Why would people want to just be beat and raped and murdered and castrated just because? I knew it was more to the story, and I made it a point. So just the relationship that we have, brother, I thank you so much for this interview. And I thank you for giving us a better perspective on Nigeria and SARS and your neighborhood and your experiences as an African man. And before, I know I said this before, but before we really get out of here, is there one last thing you would like to talk or say to the viewers?
Yeah, still to piggyback on what you just said about your fourth grade. Like they told you, blacks are mostly people swinging from trees, and then it was more like the white man came to liberate us and all of those. But you it was false. You took the extra step. You put in energy to know more about the African people before slavery, and actually got to find out that was false. I don't know. I don't see anyone out there swinging from trees or running with lions and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel whoever is seeing this should actually take time to know more about Africa, to know more about the people and the culture, because this is where civilization started.
Right. That's
You should
real.
just try to know more. That is all I can say.
The motherland. Well, I appreciated my brother, Saiyou Brakemi, aka Black, aka GKA Nat Turner. Another episode in the book. With time we can. We out.